So, like I said in the description, I have some plans to do some live stuff in the future. And I wanted to just do a test run and just see how it works. It's about an hour before game time. I've got a special Thanksgiving adventure written just for this week. So we are currently in the middle of a hex crawl. I'm going to kind of take that hex crawl and make one of the points of interest the town of Cormor, which we can get into more of that later. But one thing I thought I could do, I was walking out my front door today to come up here to the pizza shop, and there was a big old box just sitting there. I was like, we got mail. So let's see what this is. I'm not even sure what it is. I've got a bunch of stuff ordered from drive-through and other places. I'm supporting, like, I don't know, a dozen or more Kickstarters right now. I could have just went and tracked, all my shipments, but what's fun about that? Give me one sec. There we go. All right. So I am going to open this sucker up. It's drive-through because it has that little handy tear flap open. I got to log into my MacBook so I can see the chat if there is going to be one. Let me turn the volume off here. Completely unprepared, you guys. There we go. All right. Detach. Pop out chat, because I don't want to actually see myself. God. Enough of that. All right. So what's in the box? I see some fancy, from this perspective, fancy hardback. I see that. But let's go see what we got. We got nothing important. And, oh yeah, I was looking forward to these. So this is the player companion for Shadow Dark and the GM companion for Shadow Dark. I was actually watching a video from, I think it was Dungeons and Dyslexia, and he was talking about these. So I'm like, I pick them up. So I clicked that affiliate link, and I got them. Now they sent me the PDFs, but I haven't even looked at them stuff. I haven't even really looked at the PDF yet. But this is just expand some options and for people who want more options. And I'm a big fan of supplements that add monsters and items. I don't really need a bunch of classes. I mean, I'll take it. But I really like when people have put enough thought into supplements to give them, the Tablet of Deep Lore, cracked sandstone tablet with ancient unknowable runes and a mark of the Deep Lord. Blah. I really, really enjoy it. And I'm going to go through with these with some extra loving attention. And I'm going to learn how to screen share because I currently don't know how to do that. I could put the PDFs up on the screen and then put my little face in the circle like everybody else does, but I'm not like everybody else. I don't know, and I don't know that I care. These are pretty exciting. However, this is not the high point of this package. Put that back there. This is the Shucked Oyster. And if you don't know what the Shucked Oyster is, this is like, the way I've described it is, it's like the Costco of tavern inns, okay? It's this magical inn where it's kind of a brothel, okay? Kind of a brothel, so if you're not into that kind of adult content, okay? And the point is the players are going to burn down this brothel repetitively. And when they leave town and they come back to town, it's magically been rebuilt in no time. And, well, I've had the PDF for a while. I'm this old where I like actual books. PDFs just don't do it for me. I have the time to go through it, between pizza orders here at the shop. And guys, if anybody's watching, let me know about the audio. I realize I have background noise. I have fans and refrigeration running, and I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. That's the setting I chose to build my identity upon, and here we are. So, but yeah, the shucked oyster. There's some adult topics in here. I'm going to read the segment on handling the adult topics. I'm not going to say the word because I don't know what YouTube allows. I posted a video the other day called Shut the Hell Up, and it's getting like no views. I mean, I don't know if the algorithm didn't like that I said hell in the title. So I try to be careful. I mean, I cuss like a sailor. I am, it's not that I'm vulgar, like, I just say the F word a lot, and so I have to edit myself all the time. But anyway, this talks about handling that, well, we're just gonna call it grown-up time. Handling grown-up time in the shucked oyster. While this supplement presents an entertaining brothel for use in your campaign, it's not intended for extensive role-playing of adult fun time encounters. Our design goal is to provide a jumping off point for fun and interesting adventures, not for your personal kinks. For players that want to take the game that direction, we humbly suggest that you try being normal, and we realize this may be difficult for some of you. So anybody who's gonna write that into their introduction, I mean, those are writers that I wanna read. They got a sense of humor. It's totally legit, man. And I cannot wait to get into this. So the goal is that I'm gonna make this like the core inn. Wherever my players go in the world, they're gonna find the shucked oyster. And when they get there, it's gonna be the same one. So they traveled 800 miles across, all these hexes, across the sea, whatever, and the shucked oyster is gonna be there. I haven't implemented it yet because I haven't been through it all the way, but I love the idea, and it's super fun. Okay, yeah, man. So the Terra Invictus is actually what I thought was coming. I've got that also, and it's coming because I've been watching this guy called I can't remember his name, Avery, Alone in the doing currently a live, kind of like a solo play, where he has the people watching kind of make the decisions and kind of help with the die rolls. I mean, it's still solo play by any means, but anyway, that's got me very curious about the solo play. For me personally, I own a pizza shop. I'm married. I'm about to be somebody's grandfather. I'm a busy person, and tonight is Monday. Game time's in about 50 minutes. I don't have the time to get into as many games as I want. I would love to be a player in some games. I love running the games. I'd love to be a player too sometimes, and I just don't have the time. Because when I get out of here at home, I do my paperwork, it's midnight. I'm like, I ain't got time for nothing. There's nothing going on. So I could totally do that. And so I ordered oh my God, the Terra Invictus. It's super cool. But anyway, the main reason for this live stream is just to test out how it works, because like I said, I'm technologically an idiot. Put that away for now. So to make it worth your while, I'm gonna give you a Thanksgiving cliche adventure for you to run. At some point, I will link a PDF to the document in the comments below. This is, read it off my iPad here. So this is like the Great Gobbler. It's a sarcastic Thanksgiving Day adventure. So the world, there's this culture of like #blessed. These people who, and I'm very much generalizing. There are people who are like, hashtag blessed, and they haven't had a day of adversity in their entire life. Now, again, we don't know where people come from. I don't know whoever's watching. I don't know where you are. You don't know what I've come from. You don't know that, I grew up, broke and, beyond poverty, no food. I mean, I remember struggling when I was a little kid. And, my parents worked. Then we just I have 5 sisters, and there was 8 people in the house, and sometimes ends didn't meet. And when we started getting our lives together, my parents, I guess they were young when they had us. You started becoming thankful for what you had. And so I took that whole hashtag blessed, theme, and I've turned it into what I'm calling The Great Gobbler, a Thanksgiving folk horror one-shot for Deathbringer / Shadow Dark. And you can modify it for any system. It's system neutral. So I'm hesitant to read all this because my players are going to be here in 45 minutes. God, I don't think they'd actually be watching right now. Let's see. No. I don't see them watching. But so, do you remember the town, the settlement of Roanoke? It was like the 1850. Or I'm sorry, did I say 18? Like the 1585. The colonial people went back to Europe to resupply, and they came back 3 years later, and this entire village is just gone. There's no people left. That's what I was thinking about when I came up with this, because that kind of goes back to colonial United States days, and that could kind of indirectly link into Thanksgiving, even though it actually happened much later. So I'm just going to read what I have for you guys. So this is like frontier horror. It's quiet, and something big kind of moves through the cornfields at night, but nobody talks about it. It's kind of a secret, kind of an unspoken curse of a small town, where there's ongoings that everybody knows about, but it's taboo. That's what we're talking about. So this is the town of Cormor. It should be alive, bustling with livestock and children and fires and cooking and chimneys, but instead it's hollow. And it's not been attacked or raided, it's just seems abandoned. Now, most of the settlers, spoiler, most of the settlers are actually still alive, but they're in hiding under floorboards and root cellars, and they're praying that whatever stalks the fields will be, taken care of, that it doesn't notice them. And now there's a stubborn handful of people who stay above ground, not in hiding, and those people are going to be some who are genuinely thankful. So when your players arrive in town, here's my box text. I suck at writing box text, but here's the box text. You step into the outskirts of a settlement that should smell like breakfast and wood smoke. Instead, it smells like nothing. Not a voice, not a footprint, no sign of where the people went. It feels like a giant hand pressed down on this place and scraped it clean. So then I have, they're going to be able to investigate the area. And what they're going to find, if they look around, they're going to find damaged weapons, like an era-appropriate musket bent in half. And they're going to find a doorway kind of pulled inward on its hinges. I mean, it's like I have a huge list. I'm not going to read all this, God. But there's footprints of a predator. There's a predator in the area. And speaking of predator, I'm modeling the big bad in this adventure after the predator. Get to the chop. Yeah, Predator. Yes, the movie. Excuse me. So I'd put in some random NPCs. They're going to drop some clues. They're going to drop some rumors. And let me go with my rumor table. I always put the rumor table. I don't know why. Of course. Yeah, super exciting. You can't stop talking when you're on live. I know that much because that's boring. Nobody wants to watch you. So the random encounters, God, I wish I knew how to share the screens. I'm gonna learn how to do this. I'm gonna ask my son, and I'm gonna ask some other people I've seen making videos. But anyway, so the random encounters are this. So I was watching a video from Baron Durop about boring random encounter tables. Random encounters are usually rolled on a d6. But what you do is you add modifiers to those rolls based on the danger level, if the party levels, if they've acquired any magic items. And so it's like a shifting scale. So like number one, random encounter number one is a musket fires from somewhere in town. And you know, I live in a somewhat urban area, the occasional gunshot. You know, everybody kind of wonders what's from, you know. So that's the kind of basic stuff that happens. But as you get into, you know, 8, 9, 10, 11, you know, 12 rolls that you're going to have a huge modifier to actually hit, it's going to be things more dramatic. So you know how, like, in the Predator movie, the Predator kind of stalked him, and then it was all of a sudden he was just on him, and then everybody else came and found the body. That's the kind of monster I've created here. And we all know it's a giant turkey. And so as silly as it is, the Great Gobbler is what I've named him. It feeds off this negative, thankful vibe. It's the karma. You know, if you walk up to anybody and ask them if they believe in karma. Now, some people are going to say, oh yeah, for sure, 100%. Some people are going to say, you know, it's blasphemy, whatever. You know, some religions don't believe in that. But I believe in this thing called what goes around comes around, what comes around goes around. So if there's that negative energy of this false #blessed mentality going around, that it causes some deep-seated corruption in the town, and that energy has manifested itself in the wildlife, and specifically one giant turkey. I know it's silly. So now I've created 3 key locations, and one is going to be like an inn. The players are going to arrive at the inn. There's going to be, you know, one worker, one person. I didn't even give them a name yet. I'm going to let the players probably name them, and then maybe one guest. And those people who are the ones who are, you know, actually thankful for their places in life. All the people in hiding are the ones who have been forking out all of this false gratitude, and now it's, you know, time to pay the bill. And then I envisioned like a meeting area. You know, think of Lord of the Rings at the House of Elrond, where they're all outside and they got the ring in the middle and they're all talking about it. You know, I'm envisioning some sort of meeting place like that. Not that, but something, you know, and I'm calling it the meeting green. And when they get to the meeting green, there's going to be a holy woman who is, you know, like a layman preacher. She's going to be, you know, the most genuine, sincere, thankful person in the whole town. And she's going to have some more rumors. She's going to hint that the town caused its own curse. And she's going to be emotionally overwhelmed into explaining how exactly, but that's going to continue. They're going to continue, you know, pursuing what's going on. And then finally, the edge of the field. So we're assuming, you know, fall cornfields. I'm in the Midwest of the United States, so there is definitely cornfields everywhere. And thank you guys so much. So let me get to it here. All right. So the whole point of this is, if you remember the movie Predator, they stayed together, they were generally safe. The people who got, they were straggling back, or they were up too far ahead. If you really think about it, the ones who were, you know, by themselves, those were the ones who got. So my players have this tendency to split the party. Not dramatically split the party, but enough, like in the movie Predator. So when the party relaxes and they sort of get kind of, there's going to be this point where they get kind of, where they're investigating and they want to be efficient in their time. So they're going to say, I'm going to go over here. And the other person's going to say, I'm going to go look behind the shucked oyster, for example. That's the moment the predator turkey strikes. And I have a box text for that. Again, paraphrase and do your thing, okay? Totally make this your own. This is, I won't read this at the table when it actually goes down. Something hits the ground 15 feet away with enough force to make the earth jump under your boots. Corn from the fields shatters outward, and a small crater opens, smooth-edged as if something huge fell from the sky and then launched itself away before you even saw it land. And then you leave a clue that there's a feather left in the dirt the size of a shovel. I'm like 6 foot, and and imagine like a shovel this tall, just a feather stuck in the ground. Super cool, super cool. So the players are going to say they want to roll perception. The point is that the predator moves in and out without anybody else seeing. So unless they roll absurdly high, give them a 24 DC, give them something like ridiculously high, they didn't see it. Now, if they do roll a perception and they are successful, ridiculously high, give them that they saw one giant wing. Give them they saw, a giant yellow eye. Give them a small detail. You don't have to bury them with description for this monster. What makes it more, in fact, if they say, oh, it's a giant turkey, that's going to take the fear out of it. What makes it scary is that we don't know. Once we know, it's like, okay, it's a giant turkey. Yeah, Rick, you did a good job writing us a Christmas or writing us a Thanksgiving, adventure. The mystery is what drives it, what drives the fear, and what drives the excitement. So less is more, and I've always said less is more. I just put a video out a while back about over-describing, but anyway, enough about that. So then, when the turkey strikes, I'm making it where they just get like hit from behind. So the turkey's thinking like the predator testing his trophies. He wants to fight the one that's the biggest challenge. So what he's going to do, he's going to fly behind and check him from the back and just knock you prone. So you make them roll a DC 15, let's say, or they get dragged 10 feet into the cornfield. No damage necessarily. We just want to torment the player. And you guys, I think it's great. So if they make the save throw, they still get knocked prone. If they fail the DC 15, they get dragged into the woods, into the corn. All right. For sure. Oh man, for sure. That's what I'm saying. If I see a lot of games and I see like play that's not, everybody's different. We all have our own preferences. We all have our preference. I want to not know. I want there to be the mystery. I want there to be, the terror and the dread. And that's the kind of games that I run. That's the kind of games I want to be invited to play. Okay. All right. So then, once they actually the players figure out what's going on, and they engage the great gobbler. Now the gobbler's gonna hunt like he's gonna test the players. He's not gonna walk in toe to toe, fluttering his his wings at him, fluttering his tail feathers, flex it. So once they figure it out, I have him a general stat. It's like a morale check. Once the turkey gets down to about 20% health, he's going to attempt to flee. And I'm not even depicting it like, I'm not telling the players anything like Predator or anything. No magic camouflage, none of that. just this big turkey. But the turkey is going to be nudging the players towards the lair, the harvest ring, where the turkey goes to eat his victims. And when they get there, they're going to find bones and, things, torn clothes, weapons. They're going to find all this stuff. And it's going to have a heavy smell of like wet animal and some rotten smell going on there too. And if they do happen to hire one of the few NPCs left as henchmen, they're going to refuse to go past that point. And so once they get to the low point in the lair, that's when the gobbler is going to step into view, and that's when all the mystery is gone. And stat block, here we go. You ready for this? Stat block, armor class 17, HP 75, move double near. I had to invent some special attacks for this guy, and some of you will recognize them. They're just kind of reskinned from other things. Rush attack, predator insight, hit and run, fear of flame. Stats are just sarcastic. Strength +4, dex +3, constitution +5. I'm just going to stop right there. It's pretty sarcastic. Alignment neutral, level 9. It's pretty nuts. And so that's pretty much it. So then here's the best part, and I'm gonna wrap this up very soon. My players are going to be here. They're going to start straggling in here any minute. So after they kill the Great Gobbler, if they kill the Great Gobbler, okay, so the tension in Cormor breaks like a fever, like it has been like a pressure, like a relief of pressure. If you, I can't even think of, like an abscess in your mouth or something. You go to the dentist, they take care of it, and you're like, it hurts, but it feels better. So all these people are going to coming out of their hiding, and it's like they just know that this new piece has been on the town, and the players the town itself, for the first time in years, the people of Cormor have honest gratitude, and not for like blessings or hashtag blessed, not all that. It's legit thankfulness for being alive throughout whatever adversity that has not discriminated against anybody. They all suffered the same, adversity. And this moment then, because they have a 500-pound turkey, this moment becomes the first Thanksgiving dinner. And going forward, they will re-celebrate this event every Thanksgiving for the purpose of measuring corruption in their community. So trying to keep an eye on the corruption before it plants seeds again, And I think it's okay. I spent about, a week working on it in my spare time. I'm literally running this thing in like 30 minutes. So it could go either way. So let me jump in here real quick. That's what I'm talking about. Beat the stuffing out of it. That's what I'm talking about. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to go from this terror and mystery to this lighthearted holiday humor. And I really think it's going to be fun. And if my players don't tear it apart and find all the flaws, I will post it as is and in the comments and somewhere in the description, or pin it as a comment from a Google Docs link. But it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun time. Anyway, I'm going to go back and listen myself to see how the audio sounds. I know is the audio the usual? Loud, fans in the background, all that? Oh, dude, the wishbone. Oh, God, that's all. See, this is the thing. I didn't think of that. I'm writing it down right now. Wishbone. And I'll make it some kind of magic item. That's great. Okay, I appreciate you guys. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I do have some more structured live stuff in planning, but I do have some logistics to figure out how to share my screen and know how to bring another microphone on another human. And I've been hit up for some collaborative stuff. I mean, people want to talk to me and I want to talk to other people, but I've been hit up for some collaborative stuff, but I don't know the technical side of any of that. So, well, I'm not going to wherever these people are in the country. I can't, I have to be able to set it up. So that's going to be when it's here. So anyway, but yeah, I appreciate y'all. And, oh yeah, hold on. My name is Rick. This is Save versus BS. Like, subscribe, do all the things. And I'll see you in the dark.